Welcome to the show, everybody. I'm your host, Jack Canfield, and I'm here today with Daniel Elliott, the author of The Beancounter, which is a collection of anecdotal business stories written as a fun alternative way to address business challenges for entrepreneurs and for business students. And Dan is an accountant who not only worked for over 20 years in the profession, but also served as a military aircraft mechanic, an emergency service volunteer, and he combined these experiences with managing vocational training programs in a federal penitentiary system. Quite varied background, which we can talk about. I've been reading through your book, and there is some fun and very informative stuff in there. So let's start by talking about who is the Beancounter and what's this book all about?
Well, the Beancounter is an accountant who retires after 20 years and sells everything he owns and moves to a Caribbean island where he opens up a bar next to a resort. And here he shares stories with various guests from different occupations and professions, and they have fun. These stories are based on true stories. They are business adventures, and there is a learning component to each of these stories.
He encounters a guy who ends up down in the tropics somewhere, and he's behind a bar, and he's interacting with all the people that come to the bar and sharing these stories. Are all the stories about accounting?
Absolutely not. In fact, the first story was geared towards the accounting profession, but yet I talk about procurement, 2 chapters on procurement and contracting, business continuity planning, crisis management, human resources issues, including hiring and firing. There's lots of things going on in even the first book. And when I say that, I'm working on a second and third where I'm going to expand it into other industries, other professions, and we're going to have these guests, and I'm soliciting contributors, and I have some already, and we're going to be telling stories from all kinds of business sectors and professions.
Well, I love the premise of the book. It's fun to read. It's well written, and I look forward to the rest of the series. So who do you feel can benefit from the series?
Anybody that is involved in a business, owners, their managers, their employees, they can all learn something from this book. And the second group that I would love to see this become a required reading for is graduating commerce students from whether it be accounting programs or business in general programs. Because what we learn in school is not always in line with what happens in what I call the real world. And I just think it would be a great read for these students.
Beancounter, check it out. I really think it's a wonderful little series of books that are going to come along and keep getting developed by this good author.